statement. I need to go back. Okay, there's one that says page 2, and it's for the debt service revenues. I'm so sorry. I just need to point out to you that the debt service revenues needs to increase. As you know, when we borrow through certificates of obligation, those obligations is to pay off that debt first and foremost. And in order to do that, we've increased the amount to $2,319,000 for this next fiscal year, which will include the debt service and interest payments on the new debt of $10 million that we're going to get in COs. And that also is included in the tax rate. It increased the tax rate from approximately 18 cents per 100 to 23 cents. Again, knowing that there's $1 billion of assessed valuation that we're working with. So I know that was pretty exciting, but we also just, so you know, we did budget also for the $10 million. I was talking with Mike the other day, and he says, well, how long should it take us to use it? And he's pretty much, he's thinking he could do it in a year or two. But so we'll see. We'll see. We'll put some pressure on him, but that would be nice to see all that stuff get done, though, wouldn't it? Yes. So the city manager wants me to end with the general fund expenditure combined. And if you have any questions, then we can, since this is a workshop and we're going to have another session, and in that next session, we're going to have the effective tax rate and the rollback rate, and then we can really get into the nitty gritty a little bit. But the bottom line is, I was trying to make the point that the total personnel costs is such an important indicator, and you can see that a lot of the increases there. We're going from $6 million last year to $6.7 million in personnel costs, and it just takes people to get things done, and that's the bottom line there. We don't have any exciting equipment that we're going to pay for out of the general fund, and that's on purpose, because now that we are limited going forward, that 3.5% going forward, we're going to try to pay for anything that's a big ticket item through the capital funds. That way we can keep the reserve kind of where it is, so we don't dip into it too extravagantly. Any questions at this point?
That last part, I have a question on that.
Okay.
So is this a new rule, or this has always been a rule, but we didn't apply it?
It came out in the 86th legislature, which just finished in June.
So it's the SB2 bill.
Yeah. So we're sitting there at the county commission. They invited us to go there, and we're like, what? Huh? And we had to actually call to find out when exactly is this going to start, and it's not until fiscal year 2021. Thank goodness. Because that would have limited what our what happens is our budget gets split between the debt service, which is to pay off the debt, and the maintenance and operation. Well, since we went out for the COs, that's going to increase our debt service. So that's going to reduce. It can reduce our maintenance and operations, especially going forward.
I have another question. And this won't affect our grants that are out there for the big ticket items?
Our grants?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It won't affect the ability to pay for our grants that we've already written, and
So we're budgeting for that. That's
Okay.
part of the budget that we're approving.
Okay. So when you submit all the documents for our grants, does it ask you a question where your funds are coming from? Is it and you put their general fund?
No, it's pretty much just the 20%. What's the local match?
That's it. You just don't tell them where it's coming from.
But it can't come from capital, because when you take out the certificates of obligation, you be very specific of what you're gonna spend that money on, and grants isn't one of them.
Okay. Alrighty. It was just for educational purposes?
No,
Okay.
and, like, let's say we're going out for a grant for safe routes to school, sidewalks. We do have a portion of capitals that says for sidewalks. So because it's a sidewalk plan, you can use capital funds.
Okay. And this new law does not affect it?
No.
No, no. That's simply on calculating our tax rate. That's all it affects.
Thank you.
I think for the counties, it's 2.5%, right?
No, it's school districts, isn't it?
All
It's
the school
2.5.
districts Can
Yeah.
only, increase on 2.5%, not the 3.5.
Okay.
And it depends how you look at it. As a taxpayer, yeah, it's about time. But here we are on this side. It's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yeah, you're tying our hands. But that doesn't mean we can't try to get 10%. It just has to go to a vote. So good luck trying to convince people on that one. So, any other questions? Mr. Nevares, you look like you've got a question or two.
And you just don't want to ask?
No, I just listen.
Oh, okay, yes. All right. Well, I'm going to read the, no, I'm not. All right. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your enthusiasm. I love it.
Mr. Duran?
Mayor, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to move item number 14 up. The gentleman's been here a while.
Thank you. Second.
Yes.
Yes.
He deserves a Dairy Queen ice cream. Yes.
Item number 14, discussion and action to approve the appointment of Emil Chaparro, Janine Young, Claudia Garcia, Patricia Fierro, and William Correa to the City of Socorro Community Initiatives Board of Directors.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Alejandra Valdez, Grants Coordinator. In February 2019, City Council approved the formation of a new 501c3 nonprofit supporting organization to support the mission of the City of Socorro to better serve our residents. We would like to recommend Emil Chaparro, Janine Young, Claudia Garcia, Patricia Lopez, and William Correa to the Board of Directors of the City of Socorro. Briefly, I just want to mention some of the reasons we believe that these are exemplary candidates. Janine Young was a Grants and Annual Appeal Director and CEO of the Foundation of the Diocese of El Paso until 2018. She's now the Development Director at Casa of El Paso, Inc., and she's passionate about El Paso history and serves in the El Paso County Historical Commission as well. Ms. Patricia Fierro was a Chancellor of the Diocese of El Paso and is passionate about justice and equality. Mr. Emilio Chaparro, who's here, also was a former social studies, arts, and music teacher and is a former commissioner for the city's Historical Landmark Commission and currently a commissioner for the El Paso County Historical Commission. Ms. Claudia Garcia worked at the Centro San Vicente Health Center for 7 years as a grant writer, and she is passionate about health and wellness and elder care. And lastly, Mr. William Correa was serving on the UTEP Civil Engineering Advisory Board, El Paso Building Standards Commission, the Board of Directors for the Irving Symphony Orchestra, and is passionate about historical preservation, adult and youth education, and bilingual education. So with that, I highly recommend these candidates to be appointed.
Miriam Cruz?
The only thing I wanted to mention, first of all, you always do a great job. You're amazing. And I'm glad you're going to get an assistant. The only thing I did want to mention, though, about these individuals who are nominated or that are being recommended is that I was hoping that for something like this that everyone would have been from Socorro or would be from Socorro. I understand that experience matters, and I know that experience is important, especially for this endeavor. But I'm a little sad that not everyone is from Socorro. I think it's important for people from Socorro who know Socorro, who have been here, who like Socorro, who want the best for Socorro, to be on this board, and that's the only complaint that I have. Other than that, of course, you always do a great job, Alejandra, and I want to thank you for that as a constituent. But that's my only complaint with these individuals that are being nominated or recommended is that, and so I hope you guys consider that today. Thanks.
Ms. Villalobos?
So how many, she took, not that she took it out of my mouth or my thoughts. I needed to know, how many from Socorro did apply?
So Mr. Chaparro has experience here in Socorro, and he's from Socorro, if I believe correctly. And I believe Mr. Correa has also worked a lot in the community of Socorro. I do not believe he currently resides in Socorro, and that's about it. So our current bylaws, our organizational bylaws, do not require the board of directors to be residents of Socorro. But the board of directors would be the ones that have still yet to meet, and then they will decide on any changes to our bylaws.
And so how many did apply?
Just these 5.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Arta?
Okay, and the reason that they weren't required to be part of Socorro is because we're trying to reach a different type of market, because what we're trying is to bring money into the city. So we need to go out of Socorro to see who wants to come in and know about our history and want to participate in our history. And just to add to that, Alejandra and I will be part of this board, and we are from Socorro. Born and raised here, and Alejandra lives here, very passionate about Socorro. So you do have two Socorroans there.
Three.
Representing the reason
Three.
that we, three.
3.5?
That was one of the reasons that we didn't want to stay so close-minded and make sure that we go out. I mean, if we could have,
No, we'll be serving as secretary and president.
yes, no, correct. So the board has to be separate from the city, right?
Overseeing. Mr. Duran?
There's with regard to Patricia Fierro, is it Fierro or Lopez?
Fierro, that is the name that we were given, yes.
Okay.
Do you have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
No, we have a motion, Mr.
We do? Okay.
Yes.
Second.
You made the motion.
I did? Okay. That's where I went to that.
We did?
Thank
We did?
Okay.
It's 14 yes.
Okay.
Do we have any speakers?
Just Ms. Cruz?
Okay.
I have another question.
Ms. Villalobos?
So, this was placed in the paper, it was advertised?
No, it was not, no.
How did you come up, how did these candidates, were they invited?
So we sent out an email to several organizations in the El Paso area. One of them was the Young Leaders Association through the YWCA, the Paso Norte Health Foundation, Progress 321, and they kind of helped us forward that invitation out to various professionals in the El Paso region. And from that, we received these 5 applications, and those are the ones that we believe are good candidates.
Okay.
René Rodríguez Esarce, Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Pérez Esarce, and Iván Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Moving back to item number 11, discussion and action on approving the unaudited financial reports for May 2019.
Motion to approve.
Second.
René Rodríguez Esarce, Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Ralph Duran,
Yes.
Victor Pérez Esarce, and Iván Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 13, discussion and action to award the contract for grant administration services for Texas CDBG Contract 721-8460 to Marbeck Services LLC in the amount of $32,808 and to authorize city manager or her designee to sign a contract or agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My apologies. And so Marbeck LLC was the only company that responded to our RFP. They did provide many references, and we did reach out to the Rio Grande Council of Governments as well as Culberson County to take some references on their work experience. From what we received, Marbeck LLC comes very highly recommended. They do very efficient work, and they're very time responsive with their responses to their clients as well as the Texas Department of Agriculture. There have been no findings on their grants that they have administered that we are aware of, and that's what we're looking for. Of most importance for us is that we have no issues with our upcoming CDBG grants. As you can see from the scoring sheets, we also looked at their proposal, and they received very high marks from our review committee. They have been administering CDBG grants since 1984 for the town of Van Horn and for Culberson County as well, and have administered many of the same CDBG grants that the city of Socorro has received, again, with no findings or any issues with those grants.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Ralph Duran.
Yes.
Victor Perez is absent. And Ivan Colo Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 15, discussion and action to authorize the City of Socorro to submit a grant application to the Texas Historical Commission's Fiscal Year 2020 Texas Preservation Trust Fund for the Rio Vista Library Project. The city's cash match contribution is $30,000 from existing COs.
Good afternoon. We have already brought this item to you before for approval. However, the scope of the project did change a little bit from Rio Vista Building 19 to the Rio Vista Library Project. And because there was a change in the scope of the project, we have to bring it to you again for approval. The city's match contribution is $30,000 from our existing COs. And we are requesting $30,000 in funds from the Texas Preservation Trust Fund.
Ms. Villalobos?
What was our match?
$30,000.
So that has not changed.
That has not changed. It's the same amount.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve. Third, second.
Thank you.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Ralph Duran.
Yes.
Victor Perez is absent. And Ivan Colo Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 16, introduction of Community Service Officer and Traffic Officer.
Alejandra keeps saying good afternoon, essentially good evening, council and mayor. So part of the retasking that I looked at for the police department is quality of life. What can we do to improve neighborhoods and traffic? Those seem to be two of the main complaints that always come in for police departments. So what we're going to do is assign officers for a stint of 2 years to serve in the positions of traffic and neighborhood, or community service officer. The community service officer will be part education, part enforcement, and the traffic officer will be working with Mike for improvements to kind of give the police department a little bit of a voice on road construction or businesses, et cetera, that may come in that affect what we need to do as well. And then also that individual will be assigned to the traffic details that we need them to run throughout the neighborhoods. They have independent accounts now that are available on our social media platforms, so the public can contact them directly, and I would urge them to do that if they have any type of complaints that affect either the communities and or traffic, and they can reach us or they can reach the individuals at the police department as well through the main number. So with me today is our first community officer for the city of Socorro. This is Officer Rudy Aguilar. He also happens to be our canine officer, which assists in some of the tasking that he's going to be doing, because Officer Aguilar is going to be looking at some of our street level narcotics as well that occur within the city. Again, a lot of our constituents call up and see something suspicious. Officer Aguilar will be able to go out there, do some surveillance, talk to some neighborhoods, introduce himself, and then look to see if that activity rises to the level of that narcotics type dealing that's going on. If he's not doing that, he's already met the nursing home. He's already been to the nursing home. He's already met with a couple of constituents here tonight that want to talk to him about what's going on in their neighborhood, and that's honestly what he's here for, is to give the neighborhoods a voice with the police department, and it also gives a clearinghouse so that person is not always getting a different officer every time. They're always getting a different answer. This way, Officer Aguilar will be able to build a database. He'll be able to know who he's talking to. He'll be able to know the answers that he's been given or the problems that he's been looking at in the past, and he'll have a history that he can then pass on to the next officer 2 years in the future that takes over from that position. My traffic officer is not here tonight. Of course, we're a little short, so he's actually out right now. But he's doing the same kind of thing, but his emphasis will be on traffic. But I wanted to give these guys a chance, give them a face in front of council, in front of any of the residents that were still here, because this is what he's going to be doing for the next 2 years. So, all right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 17, discussion and action to award Landmark Professional Surveying Corporation for the surveying services on the realignment of Nevada's road in the amount of $38,840 to authorize city manager or her designee to sign contract or agreement.
May I?
Ms. Villalobos?
Just real quick, as in my profession as a realtor, I've used this company many times. I don't know who they are. It's just over the phone, or the title company hires them for my clients, and we do either myself as a gift pay for the their services. So I'm just letting you know. I don't know if that hurts, Mr. Martinez. I don't know if that's okay. All right. It was just a disclosure. Thank you.
The item before you is to advance our potential allocation of the Nevada's properties. Several months ago, there was a presentation by the department for its necessity to potentially acquire properties for the realignment of Nevada's. So the current scenario right now is that you have north and south Nevada's, if you will, along Alameda. It's what we call the T intersection. And the idea is to align them together. That way there's better continual flow. Along with that, as earlier discussed with one of the MPO projects, is that the alignment of Nevada's is also crucial when we bring in the extension of Nuevo Eco tanks from North Loop to Alameda. So we'll have one component, excuse me, we'll have one component going now, and then the other one through the MPO for that realignment.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Just another disclosure. I've also done business with Paso del Norte, Barragan and Associates. Just another disclosure.
Right, and I guess just for clarification for everybody is that what we did is that we went out and we asked for quotes. So that we went beyond the scope understanding because the surveyors usually are tied to projects. And so through this, we wanted to ensure that we had a wide range of availability in the event that we got one or two, what have you.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Ralph Duran.
Yes.
Victor Perez is absent, and Ivan Colo Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 18, discussion and action to approve Resolution 576 directing publication of notice of intention to issue certificates of obligation and resolving other matters relating to the subject. Do you have a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'm sorry. I have a question.
Do we have a
Do we need-
second
Oh, sorry.
before we discuss? Sorry.
Can we move can we change the motion to, or do you need it to die first?
I'll second.
Okay.
I'll second.
I was gonna say for discussion. Okay. Can we postpone this item? Can it be postponed or needs to be dealt with today?
Well, we're in the timeline that has been provided to council in the past, and it was a direction that council gave us, is to go out
Thank you, Ms. Navarro. I was actually hoping to speak until after more of a presentation or explanation was given. I, looking at the agenda item, I'm just hoping if we can get more clarification. I know you're mentioning, and I know one of the emails says that this is something that the city had asked for before, and I have a very faint memory of this. I'm just hoping if we can get more explanation. I guess that would be my only comment at this time. Thank you.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Ralph Duran.
Yes.
Victor Perez is absent. And Iván Colom Villalobos.
No.
Item number 19, discussion and action on approval of the continued engagement of Tijerina Galvan Lawrence LLC, formerly known as Lawrence Financial Consulting LLC, as the city's financial advisor and related letter agreement. Do you have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
And we have a speaker for this item. Miriam Cruz.
Thank you, Ms. Navarro. I guess again, I know it's late and I know people are tired, but I would like a little bit more background. I'm looking at the letter, I'm looking at the contract, but I guess my only question would be, I know that this was something that was brought by the city manager. I'm just wondering, is this something that you're in favor of and that's why you've brought it, or not? Are you what's the word I'm looking for? I guess, are you hoping for an approval, or is this something that you're standing behind? Thanks.
Mayor, can I ask one thing? I would request that part of the motion be to allow your administration or your city attorney to negotiate final terms of the letter agreement, as long as the compensation doesn't go beyond what's in the draft that you have in your packet.
Do we have a can we get a little background on this, besides what we've read?
Well, just, okay, so council, so we provided a 5-year capital plan, which included street lights, fleet of, street overlays, the flood improvement funds, and that equals out to maybe $60 million. And we were instructed by council to go out for COs in a $10 million CO. And right now, here's the engagement letter and the process of it. We have a timeline to meet in order to, but I'm not for or against, I was just instructed by council to do this, so that's why we're here.
And,
Ms. Villalobos?
and so, are there other projects that are in line with this CO, or these were the first, were these the first that we approved, and they're going in order, or by importance?
There's, several projects, we had actually talked through our capital workshop on those projects, and the 5-year plan was approved last year. And that's why you're seeing the notice of intent, it's for those type of, like the modular.
Mhm.
The modular is something that you already approved based on these new COs that we're gonna go and take out. The flood, the smart subway flood improvement, the 1.7
motion.
I would say just to permit the administration, the city attorney to negotiate the final terms so long as the cost of the city is increased.
Exactly. What he said.
Second.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Ralph Duran.
Yes.
Victor Pérez is absent. And Iván Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Make a motion to retire into executive session.
Second?
We're gonna ask to postpone because it's regarding mayor and she says that we don't have a quorum. So
Okay.
we're gonna have to postpone it for the next time.
Make a motion to postpone till
Second?
the next meeting.
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Ralph Duran.
Yes.
Victor Pérez is absent. And Iván Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Do we have anything else on 26, 27, 28?
Motion to delete items 26, 27, and 28.
Second?
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Ralph Duran.
Yes.
Victor Pérez is absent. And Iván Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Rene Rodriguez is absent. Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Ralph Duran.
Yes.
Victor Pérez is absent. And Iván Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
8:53.